are back. So the headmaster says, I'm afraid I cannot let you do that, Mollyar. Your place is firmly at this institution, and I will not be responsible for you abandoning it.
It might not be quite as simple as that, Professor. You see, I wasn't completely truthful with you. Visitors committed no wrongdoing, however, saw it fit to enter the bowels of the school. I thought it was interesting, so we followed her upstairs in the dungeons, where she destroyed suits of armor and freed a creature that was trapped in the bottom. This isn't just wanting to leave. She has no regard for the school rules whatsoever. Significant property damage on this institution. And as per your own statement earlier, evidence is down there in the halls, which you can go yourself and see.
The headmaster, she will point her wand at you, and she is essentially casting a truth detection spell upon you. But because you are telling the truth.
She did attack some guards. She did help destroy them. She did free a creature.
Yep. Basically, you don't have to make a save because essentially it is true. So she nods. I see. Well, be that as it may, exceptions can be made. Mollyar, I'm afraid I cannot allow you to leave this establishment at all, under any circumstances.
Concerning, Professor. I don't see why it's fair that she gets a pass when no one else would be offered that same privilege.
I know, right?
If it was me doing that, I'd be out of here by the end of the hour.
I would find it a lot easier to believe you, Belgarath, if you were not holding her hand right now.
You have with me, don't I?
Say that again.
You have with me, don't I? To face you.
Ah, I see. So there is no attachment between the two of you, no sentiment, no feelings of romanticism. It is merely you dragging her to my feet to...
The feelings I have for her does not get in the way of the fact that she broke the school rules. And I have at least a little fondness for the lady. And it is why it's with a great heavy heart that's going to bring her before you.
Mollyar sort of squeezes your hand a tiny little bit there, like a sort of like, you know, thanks kind of thing. But the headmaster is steadfast and she says, again, I must insist Mollyar does not leave the school grounds. You have had no inclination to do so in the past. I can't see why a sudden spur-of-the-moment decision should ruin everything. We can replace most of the things downstairs. We shall have to find another way for the first and third years to practice all of their spells, of course, but I'm sure that can be arranged. Mollyar, please return to your common room, and our head boy would do well to do the same to his own common room.
Well, I will accept your judgment. I will start to lead Mollyar to her dorm room.
Mollyar will pull you back and just be like, no, I'm not staying here.
I'll give her a look. I'll give her a look.
She's not going to take the look. She's like, no, I'm leaving with these people. I'm going to do amazing things. They've had word from Urfal herself. I'm going.
We'll send her a message saying... Do it.
Do it, Belgarath. Do the thing.
Needles is growling, what's taking so long? Belgarath is mentioning person-sized sack. And Airrill saying yes. What message were you sending, Belgarath?
and like the message equivalent of trying to find a way of wording just the phrase "trust me."
How about the words "trust me"?
I'll message these words "trust me."
She will respond very as succinctly as she can and very quickly. I can detect her starting to cast something on me, which will mean she can track where I am and not let me leave. It hasn't taken full effect yet. This might be my last chance.
Counter spell?
Counterspell the headmaster of this magical school.
Well, I mean...
Right, Mollyar, look, I'm fed up with you. I'm fed up with you and all of your constant shit. You're blatantly getting scot-free for something that you did when anyone else would be in a lot of trouble for. Fireball right in front of me.
Okay.
And
what?
Can we do this right at that second?
The meme is from Monty Python, and it's all the knights going, "Run away! Run away!" Needles, you can't
throw a fireball right in the ground in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm chasing it.
Towards her, but like I kind of like probably take it. It's like fireball.
Okay. And your intention as the fireball lands is to what?
There's a massive fucking explosion so that everyone starts fighting each other.
And I was assaulted earlier, I'd say the guess.
It's to first of all distract the headmaster, because the headmaster's got to like do some concentration and make the spell because it hasn't taken effect yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll knock off her concentration because she'll be taking damage. Be okay, and then the rest of the party might take that as a clue to get the fuck out of here. So it interrupts the detection thing that casting on Mollyar and gives me an excuse to fight them to try and job, whilst also giving them the chance to step away.
Okay. So Airrill, Belgarath, and Needles, are you going to run for the exit?
Yes.
I would like to... Sorry, Airrill, do you go first?
No, but I think we should, bring Mollyar now that we have a chance.
Yeah. My suggestion would be, Needles, you grab Mollyar. I'm going to put a person-sized sack over the headmistress. Not to take her with us, but just as like a distractory, fireball's gone off, goes over the head and peg it.
Disturbing line of sight, basically.
Yes.
Needles will just grab Mollyar like a sack of spuds and run at the gate.
Okay. Okay, in which case I will need two things to happen.
We all have to guys and they've got to make a dex save, first of all.
Okay. Everyone who is running away, can you make a dexterity save? Belgarath, can you make a strength check?
Oh, balls.
Check?
Strength check, Belgarath. And Belgarath, your dexterity check is to do the headmistress.
Strength check is a 12.
Okay.
Nice, Airrill.
Okay, Airrill, you managed to fly straight at the wibbly wobbly wall and fly out of the school, pursued by Enna and Cypher. Orissa is outside with a very angry looking Kess, who is still disguised. And they're sort of kicking up. Kess is sort of kicking up gravel outside, and Orissa is playing a song called "Cheer Up, Kess. It couldn't be better, but it could be a lot worse." And Airrill is out with Enna and Cypher. Airrill casts Black Candle to create darkness inside the sack. That is fine. However, Belgarath, your dex save was an 8, so you go to fling it at the headmistress and you get it over one of her shoulders as opposed to her whole head. Can you do me a dexterity to run as well. Needles, you run out of the way. Belgarath,
Wasn't it? I thought the deck save. I thought the deck save was against the fireball.
no, because it was going off as a distraction away from you guys. It was a dex to be able to run without anyone stopping you.
It wasn't me attack. It was like a me dropping a fucking explosion.
Okay, in which case, do
Like, put actual power behind it, so like it isn't just a cosmetic one. Like so, she doesn't think that I'm just trying to shirk on them.
Okay, cool. In which case, do damage.
Oh no, I was like waiting for you to tell me to do damage.
Yeah, that's fine. In which case, do damage. And Needles, you're running, so I'll say Needles, you can take half because you've fucking started running. And Airrill, you're nat 20. Well, you're flying. You'll be okay from this.
Okay. I've still got immunity to fire damage on, I think.
23 fire damage. 23 fire.
Okay, Headmistress will do that too. And did you get a 12 for your strength as well?
Yeah, that was 12, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, then you have a choice because Mollyar had one of your hands because she sort of went to grab it as you were arguing. So as she gets pulled away by Needles, she jerks you with her. You have the choice. You can let go, or you can keep holding on to her and go with them.
I will let myself get pulled away and then start basically just starting to charge more fire spells and just starting to fling them at people. Like I'm getting pulled away and I'm mage, so I'm not exactly the most physically kind of like throwing fireballs fucking everywhere.
Okay.
It actually like yanks me around.
Okay. In which case,
fireballs. Throwing fireballs around is a bit different.
yeah, that's fine. In which case, okay, the Headmaster will manage to dodge those. She's dropped her concentration.
Rosie,
Yeah.
not to break this narrative, but what am I doing at this point?
You tried to put the bag over her, but then
Yeah.
it failed. So would you like to then run for the exit? I assume.
Well, I thought the original deck save was against Will's fireball because I would have been sort of in the blast radius of that.
In which case, you've taken the 33 damage.
Wouldn't it be because I've still got fire resistance on? So does that alter the amount of damage I take?
It'll be half. Yes.
16, I think.
So yeah, 16.
16. Oh bloody hell! I'm going to need a rest.
So you've taken that, you've attempted the Headmistress, you've got it over her shoulder and failed, but she has been distracted from her spell. Would you now like to run? Which was what was going to be your next dexterity check.
No, while she's distracted, I want to have another go at putting the bag over her head.
Okay.
So when I'm getting pulled away, I want one of my random firebolts to be at the Headmaster.
Okay, sure. Roll me an attack for that one, if you're deliberately aiming it at her.
That is a 18.
Okay. That will just hit, because she hasn't got her special... No, she hasn't got that on at the moment.
Then it's like then that's 2d10. 8, and I'll throw in one of my pack surges who do an extra 4. So that's...
Rosie?
Yes.
I want to also cast that shadow hood thing on the Headmaster.
Oh, okay. So
the distracting shadows.
Yeah. Okay, that is fine. That was a save, right?
That's a save for wisdom.
Okie doke. I will roll this. Ooh, she was clearly very distracted by doing that spell. That was a total of 7.
How much?
Total of 7 for a save.
Yeah, no, the save is the DC is 15.
Okay. In which case, the headmaster, is now distracted with shadows that all look suspiciously like former students that she had pissed off. And what was the damage for the fire?
Firebolt was 12 damage.
Okay. 12 to him.
Did we accidentally bring war onto this?
Dick backwards. Stop thinking with your dick. It's back to it, dick.
Okay. So Belgarath, I'm going to say that you can successfully put the hood over her now because she's distracted.
No, not a hood, a bag.
Sorry,
Come on,
bag.
she's...
Sorry, the person-sized bag you can put over the headmaster. Jesus
Good.
Christ. Did you want to do... What would you like to do now you've put the person-sized sack over the headmaster?
I'm gonna fucking run away, that's what I'm gonna do.
Cheese it! Cheese it, lads!
If anything, actually, I'm going to cast a level 2 gust of wind behind me to increase my speed.
Okay, sure.
Belgarath, it will also push her over.
Yes, so 2 birds, 1 stone.
Sure. Okay. In which case you can run for the exit. Okay. In which case can Belgarath, Airrill, Belgarath, Needles, and Mollyar, who I will roll for. Can you all please do me one Constitution save?
Right, is this after I've cast Gust of Wind already?
Yes.
Wait, this will be another arcane deflection thing from my Constitution's 16.
Okay.
Yep, 16 for me too.
5 was that for you, Airrill?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
Keep in mind that I get a +2.
Oh dear. Okay, and that was a 12 for Mollyar. Okay. You guys jump out of the exit. Belgarath, you're basically pulled.
That's fine.
And as you guys are pulled, you feel things like ripping and tearing at your skin. Needles, Belgarath, and Belgarath, you only take 10 points of damage.
Oh, is that all?
Yes. Airrill, you take 19 points of damage, and so does Mollyar. You sort of fall out of the school, but it's as if you've been pulled through like a barbed wire fence. Your clothes are fine, but underneath your skin is ripped and like has tears in it and stuff. And Belgarath, your head boy badge and prefect stuff has been torn off you.
Yeah,
And
I saw that coming.
disappeared.
Even though that was completely not my fault.
What, that fireball that you tossed at her?
I didn't toss it at the headmaster, I tossed it at Mollyar. Little fucking...
Needles drops
I
the...
don't understand your relation with her.
Needles drops the...
Don't either, that's the point.
Their relationship is hate boner. What about this aren't you getting?
Fair.
Okay, so you guys are all outside the school. You are very aware that you've probably got people who are wanting to chase you and come after you right now. Arissa is outside. Kess is like, oh, finally. And Arissa's like, I made a song, guys. Let's stand around here and hear it.
Wait, I got a better idea. How about we don't?
What? Did you guys get thrown out
I
too?
will yell out in the following languages. I will yell out "fucking run," and that's Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Okay, so Sylvan.
And I will echo that shout in Undercommon because that's the only language other than the ones he just shouted in that I know.
Do either of you say it in common?
Primordial. I'll add primordial to this deal.
Okay. Is anyone saying it in common for those people who are,
Oh yeah, of course.
not magically multilingual? Okay. You guys then can run 1. Cheese it back to... Did you bring the cart here with you, or did you not? Did you bring the cart with you when you arrived? No, you didn't. You came by dragon, so you don't have a cart.
I don't think the dragon brought the cart.
No, I don't think the dragon did bring the cart. I don't think the cart has been with you for a while, actually. In fact, so in which case you guys can like run to the edge of the city, and then it's sort of like,
I'll call for Onyx so that I have a ride.
Okay.
And then I'll take a nap on his back.
Yeah, I'm going to also try and get some rest because I'm on 2 freaking HP right now.
I think we're setting up camp somewhere safe-ish.
So is it safe to say you will run until you can't run anymore, and Templar is just a spot in the distance, and then set up camp?
I'm fucking screwed.
Okay. Bakurat, are you going to go with them, or are you going to stop?
I think for now it's probably best if I go with them, just because I think heading back is just going to get me yelled at, and I don't really need that today.
Okay.
I think yelled at is...
The selling it. I've definitely stripped all of my positions, so that's great. And yeah, I feel like that was definitely one way to go about it.
In which case, you guys will start talking about setting up camp. Needles has taken his club out.
Needles is gonna walk up to the Mollyar and basically just poke her in the chest with the club and go, "Only one champion."
She's gonna look very confused. What?
There can be only one champion. You fight Needles. You prove you're stronger.
I don't have any, what is the word? I don't have beef with you, Needles.
Prove you stronger than Needles.
Prove I'm stronger than you. Are you sure?
I'm not going to even say anything. I'm just going to watch.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have had a shitter of a day. You want me to prove I'm stronger than you now, like right now?
Can we like have a breather and maybe do this in the morning?
Everyone just calm the fuck down.
I'm gonna distract Needles with the shadows.
Oh, fuck. That's a save, isn't it?
Wisdom.
Fun there, buddy.
Oh, he actually... No. What's he gonna pass?
15.
Yeah, fuck no.
Airrill,
And I'll just whisper in his
Is
ear.
it obvious that you're doing that?
It's only somatic, so basically I start saying shit in primordial.
What do you say in his... Huh?
Verbal is saying shit. Somatic is just moving hands and stuff.
Oh, okay, sorry. In that case, it's just moving my hands.
Okay. What do you say to him?
Well, what I whisper to him is, "Ooh, look at all the pretty things."
As you've done that, Mollyar will look at you, Airrill, and say, No, don't distract him. He's clearly got a problem. What is it? What do you want from me? I have no problem with you. You want to fight me? What for?
Needles is gonna level his club at Kess and go, "That one told Needles that he champion. That one told you that you were champion. There can only be one."
I see. You mean the champion for doing this thing for Earthfell, the goddess, correct?
Yes.
Well, then it sounds like you've had your chance, quite frankly.
Needles don't believe you strong.
Are you sure you want me to prove you wrong?
Now smelling you, Needles.
Yep. This will be fun.
Airrill, drop whatever it is you've put upon him.
Okay. And with that, the shadows stop.
Okay. She'll raise her wand and point it at you, Needles. Come at me, lesser champion.
Oh shit.
He's gonna full-on rage out and charge.
Okay. She will let you attack her. So go for a straight attack.
Well, this escalated quickly.
That would be plus.
Shame.
That's a 26 and a 19.
Okay. Both of those hit.
Yup. Yup.
Do your damage, Needles. Meanwhile, a new meme has been put up, which is this whole arc, and it's a picture which is entitled Harry Potter and the Audacity of this bitch.
I mean, he's not wrong.
The last few hours, really. Just in general, yeah. Audacity of this bitch.
And it could refer to any number of people as well.
Now, what are you talking about?
What's your damage, Needles?
All of them are demonstrating a great deal of audacity.
That was 53 damage.
Okay. 53 damage. Okay. Okay.
I think did I do that right? Let me just quickly run the math again.
Cool. Are you guys just sort of passing around popcorn at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm starting with short rest.
Plus 2 plus. Sorry, 41.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. She will take the hit and then raise her wand again. Some blood coming down the side of her mouth, you know, like bruises here and there. She'll raise her wand and she'll say, "That is not the work of a champion." And she is going to blast you with a spell you don't recognise, and neither do you, Head Boyus Maximus, and neither do you, Belgarath.
Hey.
Fun? You don't recognise the spell she's casting. And I'm going to need
I expected that one.
I'm going to need some more dice. 1 minute.
That moment when someone says...
She is going red again. And not just red smoke, but flames are coming up around her. Her whole arm ignites, and her wand actually sets on fire and crumbles in her hand. And she instead blasts you with some sort of spell from out of her hands herself. She no longer needs her wand. And that is going to be... that is going to be 27 points of necrotic damage and 22 points of just general sort of blasting damage and another 10 of poison.
That just put him on minus 14.
Minus 14.
Yep.
Also, I'm enjoying the gifs, which are have a nice cold pint and wait for this all to blow over, and then just people stuffing popcorn in their faces. Okay. And that takes you below 0.
Yep.
Okay, in which case...
Needles is down.
Needles, can you roll me a d6? No, sorry, not a d6. Can you roll me a d4?
A D4?
Yes.
You gotta get fucking integrated.
That will be a 2.
Okay. Needles, you are dead.
Shit.
Wait, did she really?
Yep. You had to get a 3 or a 4 for that one. So Needles, the previous champion of FL, looks a little surprised for a moment. Do you have any last words as you fall backwards and die?
He hasn't quite had it sinking yet. He's probably going, Needles is strongest.
And in the blind sort of rage state that she's in at the moment, as he hits the ground, and Mollyar sort of lowers her arm slowly and is sort of like shaking and angry. Yes, fuckery department, I would like to file a claim. Mollyar then says,
I know this is rich coming from me, but your powers are bullshit.
Mollyar says, he is not.
Okay, so we've learned some stuff. We've made some new friends. And together, collectively, I think we've all grown as people.
I think we've all learned valuable lessons.
Mollyar is sort of shaking her head, and the blast of sort of fire and power seems to be sort of slowly fading a little. And she looks around, and in a quite faint voice, she says, "Belgarath."
Sorry, Mollyar said what?
She said,
You sound
sorry, you cut out too. She said, Belgarath. Like she's looking for you. Like she's like got her hands.
When you raise a hand and say, "Yeah."
She's got like her hands in front of her. She's like, she can't see you.
I will stand up and I'll kind of just walk over to her then.
Okay. She like.
Well, I hope you're planning on being with her forever, because.
Are you the Romanov to her Hulk?
You guys need to shut the fuck up real quickly.
She like.
Just kind of hold onto her shoulders.
She's got like a bit like when a bit like fireballs going off in your face. She's sort of shaking her head and blinking a lot, and she sort of looks at you for a moment, and she sort of moves as if she wants to embrace you, but then stops herself and like puts your arm away and goes to sit down by the fire by herself. Which I assume you guys have made while this was going on. I assume you started.
Look, that's bonfire. Boom. Now there's a bonfire.
Yeah, there's a bonfire. She's gonna go and sit down by the bonfire, like head in her hands, just sort of like not sure. She seems to be a little unsure what on earth she's doing.
Next to her, but like kind of nearby, just like kind of being there.
Okay.
Been out.
So, on that cheerful note, everyone will sit around the campfire, nowhere near Mollyar.
Actually, I'll bring Onyx with me into the tree where I'm hiding.
Okay, so I'll just note that.
Is there anything left of Needles?
Yeah, he's a body. He's like been blasted with like a shit ton of power, and he's got like blackened bits on his skin and stuff. It's like he's been sort of like blasted with flames but not burnt to a cinder. He's just like an empty shell now.
Any clerics?
I mean, you've been around us, right? Do we seem like the kind of people who'd be chummy with clerics?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Do you know any clerics? We're more in your home ground than ours.
Rosie, do I know any clerics?
Do me a history check.
And I mean, it doesn't matter yet if they want to help us. We'll find that out in the next episode.
History check.
Yes.
+8 bonus, motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Dice skills.
That's what happens when you learn stuff.
I think we might need to let Timo go to bed soon.
Yeah, don't worry. This will be the last bit.
Oh, it's only 1:45.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'll just check. I think I have work in like 7 hours.
It's okay. I will find
You're
out.
right.
What's your history?
My score was 19.
You don't know any personally, but you've heard of a roaming healer guy who's said to have really magical powers, called Jesus, but you don't know
Jesus.
Jesus.
Right, so it's Rastafarian Jesus, got it.
But you've heard of him, but you've got no idea where you'd be able to find him at the moment.
Yeah, it's the party. So yeah, there's apparently there's like a roaming cleric who kind of just wanders around, which you might be able to find. I don't know, might be able to do something, but otherwise that's a problem.
Yes, it certainly is. We probably want to ask around and see if we can find that chap, because that's a lot of orc we're going to have to drag around with us otherwise.
Yeah. In that case, I will kind of just know that. I'm going to take a very short rest, and then I'm going to regain a level 2 spell slot with Arcane Recovery. Level 2 Arcane spell slots. One of them to levitate the body into somewhere that's not in the middle of like the grass or whatever. Give it some shelter so it doesn't start decomposing too quickly.
Aww. See, he's quite sweet now. He's not a head boy anymore. Okay.
We just had to hurt his ego before he
We
became
just had to
nice.
take away all of his academic options, and now he's lovely. I was this close! This close to graduation, you motherfuckers!
You said that this school was expensive, right? Oh, your family's gonna move.
You guys are real big time.
Needles did not find the straight and narrow. No, you are correct.
I'm going to refrain from. I'm going to not say to Mollyar that like she owes me real big time for literally giving up my education so she can go and save the fucking world. So I'm going to not tell her that.
You totally tell her that.
Things.
You totally tell her that when she's calmed down.
Maybe later, not right this very second when she's just murdered a person. And I assume she hasn't got much experience with murdering people just yet.
She has no idea.
After I've done the levitation stuff, I'm just assuming I'll just go and again sit kind of near her in case she needs any like thing, and then I'll just be like going, okay.
If you sit right next to her, she'll sort of like just lie her head on your lap and just go to sleep.
Then that happens then.
Okay. All right. In which case, I will leave you all going into your long rest. I will turn off the recording in a second. So, thank you to our lovely NPC whose story arc changed a lot, but that's fine.
That's fine.
The pompous cat who was supposed to basically, kick them out is now with them because yes.
Because that's how D&D works.
You firebombed your headmaster.
I firebombed Mollyar, who was coincidentally right next to my headmaster.
I'm never going to tell Cinclair about this. She'll kill you. So,
when you tell her, could you maybe leave out where I stuck a bag over her head?
Yes, sure. For those of you still listening, Cinclair is the name of the headmaster, female headmaster that we had at Bothwell runs 1 and 3, who is amazing and glorious and wonderful, and I hope she never listens to this.
I kind of a message.
Well, thank you to our lovely NPC. Thank you to our players. I'll shout goodbye to the recording, everybody, and I'll turn it off. And we'll see you all soon.
Yay!
Goodbye.
Goodbye.